Hello everybody, Bill Thornton, SoCalSabre here. Thank you for stopping by. I'm going to have a demonstration today, a demo, not a full playthrough, of the Dark Quarter that I picked up recently just after it got released at Gen Con. And this is an app-assisted game, and I'm going to try to show you a little bit. It's a pretty cool game. Down here on the board, you can't see all the way up to the top there. I better probably move things so you can see it at least once. This is the outline of New Orleans. You're going to see things on here. These are locations and people at certain spots that were put on during the process of the game. It started off with nothing there. We're working for this investigative service, trying to figure this murder out. Up here is Constance Moreau. And I got another board over here for Winter Mullins, who is right down over here, which you can't see. It's right over here. All right. These are location cards that come out during the process of the game. They don't start out, and then certain people are put on them. Okay, we have, when you're playing solo, you have to pick two characters. So like I said, I have Constance Moreau, and I got a similar board over here for Winter Mullins. Okay, on her board, these are her two primary dice. And you're going to see some other dice here. These are called effort dice. We'll be rolling them, as you can see. Then down here, we have strengths. This is talent, combat, arcane, and charisma, and they can get stronger or weaker as the game goes on. She has a special thing that in all tests, which are dice rolls, each pair of stars adds 2 to the dice roll, which you'll see about when we do a test. Okay, and then during the course of the game, she has picked up these cards. These are, with the backs like this, are what are called consumable cards. They're all consumable. And then you can scan them, you can use them. And then we got one here, which is a story card. This closed lock, it's a story card. I'll put it down here in the bottom. Okay, over here, this is called the teams. Now, either Constance or Winter Mullins can use one of these if they choose to during their turn. So, what we're going to do here, first thing, I showed you that board up there. I'm going to bring the camera down just a little bit so we can get you can see the app better. All right, here we go. It's Constance's turn. As you can see, it's turn number 67. It says to refresh one of these effort dice, so I refresh it up to the top. And then it says, okay, let's go. It's Constance's turn. What do we want to do with Constance? Well, let's go back up to where that woman is in the Laveau Corporation, Charlotte. I'm going in there, and we're going to go visit her. Okay, we're visiting her. I moved this up here right where she's right next to Charlotte up here. Okay, we're gonna question her using a charisma test. So we're gonna take all 4 of her dice and we're gonna roll them. Then we're gonna add them up. We got a 3 and a 1 is 4, and 1 is 5. Okay, and then we got one of these. Okay, so that doesn't mean nothing. So she got 5. Now when I go down here to her charisma chart on the bottom down here, I'll show you once. Okay, I look at the bottom of the charisma and I go over here and she's got 1 that's 5 or under. So she's going to get 1 success. I'll show you that here. So we got 1 success, so we put it in there. We're going to confirm. And then I want to show you about scanning. So I'm going to ask her, I want to ask her about something. So I'm going to ask her about this closed locket that I got here. Sorry for that reflection up there. Okay, and it just says, Baton looked at the locket and laughed a glittering, heartless laugh. Dear Constance, my opinion you got plummets by the second. Why would you ever think that I might care about that, much less know anything about it? She's mad to be interrupted, so we got to end her turn automatically. Okay, we're going to go over to Mullins now, and Mullins is he's up there at the headquarters. We're going to refresh his last die. He's got a lot of dice here. We'll try the headquarters one more time. It's the Beaumont Agency right here. We're going to click on it. We're going to go in and talk to the boss. I had rashes that bothered me less than you, Mullins. What the F is it now? This is an adult-only game. It has a lot of cussing in it. Okay. All right. We're going to get a hint again? Wow. Let's go to the hint. Mullins filled Sophia in on the progress being made in the investigation and took a step back. The Beaumont director had a brilliant mind for the case, but her insight always came with a healthy dose of venom. Sophie mulled over the current status of the case, her usual gruff tone more introspective. I think there's more to discover about it, or about if and how the dead Saturdays are involved. Ask around about them and see what you can dig up. Okay, can you give me some information about the dead Saturdays? The dead Saturdays are unhinged maniacs. About as fun as a cackle of hyenas and just as dangerous. They skulk around the city's cemeteries, digging up God only knows what. Their current leader is, Sophie checked on a file on her desk, a man who goes by the name of Papa Doc. Sounds like a real effing gentleman, judging by what we've heard. Most important thing to know about the Deadlocks is that they're in deep with Baron Zamidi. He's their liaison d'etre, and they would kiss his boots if he'd let them. The pantheon of Leo aren't exactly known for their sanity, but Baron takes the effing triple-decker chocolate cake. Avoid him at all costs. You have any more details on Baron? Details. You want some effing details? The director grimaced. I had a run-in with Krimmel. He goes by that name when he's feeling particularly sadistic. About 20 years ago, a group of bored blinkers, just kids really, were effing around and somehow managed to summon the vicious man. I never figured out how that pack of stupid children did it. Summoning a Leo is beyond the power of most voodoo priests. The Baron had them dousing live chickens with gasoline and lighting them on fire. After that got old, he had them do it to one another. Sophie, usually as hard as the tempered steel, looked uneasy. I got there while the second one was still screaming. It took a fair bit of effort, but I managed to convince him to leave the others alone. I can be a filthy MFer when I need to be. And he's got a soft spot for obscene conversation. The Baron loves rum, cigars, and dirty effing jokes. The nastier the better. But my advice, Sophie got quiet for a moment. If you see him, run the other effing way. And what does the agency know about the Laveau Corporation? That's where Constance is up there right now. She might be in trouble, huh? Laveau Corporation is run by the most powerful MFers in the city, and at the top is Charlotte Baton, Laveau's president. But the one woman you don't want to F with in this city is me. She's number 2. Laveau's been around Orleans as long as we have. If they're involved in the Beaucien business, which was the murder, then that complicates things significantly. Tread lightly around them. As much as I dislike you, Mullins, I'd rather not have to scrape your corpse off the streets of the quarter. All right, Mullins. Sophie waited for Mullins to get on with it. All right. End of turn. We're going to do one more turn for each one in this. Back to constants. Let's refresh one of our die, since I forgot to put them up there again. Anyway, they're refreshed. We didn't even have to use his dies. And so we're going to refresh another one. There we go. Where do we want to go with her? She's got to get out of there. That woman's a little bit too nasty. Let's see where. Let's go back down to this crypt that we're trying to open. Let's move her down here. We're going to move her down here to the crypt. Okay, visit the crypt. Use an object to open a tomb. Well, we're going to do this stand a rope. Because earlier we got that this was a pretty powerful rope. Okay? Use an object to open the tomb. We've been trying to open this tomb for a while. When it came to opening magical sealed crystals, this was not the best tool. So we got that one out of the way. I've tried all kinds of different things. Okay. So we want to try another object. What do we got? Chisel on the stone of the tomb was a name, Clapion, C-L-A-P-I-O-N, and beneath that a phrase in French, La Sang c'est Savoyant. If I knew French, I'd probably there. We're going to try one more thing to open it up. We're going to try to use this closed locket. Morel held the locket up in front of the tomb. She could feel it twitching in her hand as if it was magically attracted to the crypt, and the words clustered into a gentle in the granite began to glow. But then the locket stopped twitching and the glow around the letters faded, leaving only cold, impersonal stone behind. The locket wasn't strong enough to open a tomb, at least while it was closed. Your end turns. Okay, let's do Winter Mullins one more time. He's got all his dice, so we can skip that. Where's he at? He's over there. I think I'm going to send him back down here to this agency to talk to this guy that's on guard duty down here. I forget the name of the agency, but he's going to go down there. He was talking to him before. Maybe he's got to get a little bit tougher with him this time. Visit the Cabildo. Okay, Mullins cleared his throat. Can I ask you some questions? Okay, we're gonna throw all 5 of them. See if we can get a lot of questions. All right. Okay, so we got 7, 10, 13. When I look over here on his, he has 3 successes with 13. Plus he gets a bonus one, so he has 4 successes. Let's get rid of those dice. 4 successes. Let's confirm it. Okay, we're going to improve our charisma by 1. You always use the right one, so I'm going to be moving it from a 10 into a 9. So now I have 3 of them that are 9 or below on there. I might have cheated myself out of that one too. The Grand Questioner looked at Mullins with what could only be respect. Okay. So well, what's he want to ask him about? Let's ask him about these finger bones here. See if he knows anything about this. This is a storyline. What can you tell me about this? The man examined the bones with a faint display of interest. From what you described, these must be some sort of pagan offering. A glimmer of black magic is emanating from them. Well, let's try to intimidate a little bit. The man's face darkened. Without a word, he simply returned the bones, dropping the subject. And I ended my turn because I asked him that question and he got mad at me instead of using all my stuff. All right. So, when I end this demo right there, get it out. I hope you enjoyed this. This is a pretty cool game. I don't know how long this scenario is going to be going, but it does give you an intermission and there's a way to save out there. But I'm going to play a little bit longer. But that's it for this demo. SoCalsabre saying take care of yourselves out there. Be kind to each other and stay safe.